Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm talking about Beast. This movie came out in August or September, I can't remember, but of this year, of course. And it's basically Jaws, but instead of a shark, you have a lion. Oh, and you also have Idris Elba fighting it. Yeah. This movie, I'm just gonna say it right now, was very fun. And I really enjoyed it. So, it does have, like, maybe some issues, but we'll get over them when we get. So, basic plot is that Idris Elba plays a character by the name of Nate, and who decides to take his two daughters on a trip to Africa after their mother recently passed away. So on the trip to Africa, Nate meets up with one of his old buddies named Martin, and then while on a safari trip, they get attacked by a bloodthirsty lion. And that's it. Throughout the rest of the movie, it's just Nate trying to defend Nate and Martin. It's just Martin and Nate trying to defend Nate's kids from the lion, and so they can all get out of this alive. And bloody carnage ensues. Like, I'm just gonna say, this movie is far more brutal than Jaws ever was. Also, that also stacks in because this movie has over double the body count that Jaws does. Which, that's always appreciated. Like, yeah, the lion in this, yes, it is mostly CG, if you're wondering. Of course, they couldn't use a real lion for this shit. But as CGI animals go, it's pretty good looking for CGI animals. Now, where it does go practical is the gore, and I can appreciate that. It's mainly more of an aftermath kind of gore. It's not really like you see the lion tearing people up. The gore comes more in the aftermath. It's still very good looking, and it's very much appreciated by gorehound lovers like me. So, yeah. Now, let's get into the acting. Idris Elba, very good. I mean, that's not surprising, because Idris Elba's a great actor. So, of course, he gives in a great performance. Honestly, yeah, the acting just as a whole is really good. I don't think anyone really fucked up, or everyone's giving their all, and it's very well done. Now, let's talk about a thing I noticed while watching, is that this movie feels like a video game. And now, if you've seen the movie, you might understand this. Of course, I'm going to go into some spoilers here. But the movie definitely does feel like a video game. Like, I know video games and movies are kind of, like, interchangeable with how their stories and plots go. But I just noticed, like, when I was watching, it felt like I was more, like, playing through this scenario more than... Like, it felt like this is a scenario where you could play through it as a full horror action video game, akin to something like Resident Evil, but with a lion as the antagonist. And I don't know why I think that it does, but maybe more people thinks it feels like a video game. I know there are video games that feature a plot where you have to deal with a killer animal, but this movie, it just felt video game-esque. Like the characters have to go do this thing, and then they have to deal with objective after objective, and it's very video game-like. And the lion is almost like and the lion represents like a reoccurring boss character. To bring an example up would be Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. How he was a character who, throughout the entire of that game, he kept showing up, and boss battle ensues. And that's kind of the thing with a lot of the RE games, of course, is that, yeah, well, at least the early RE games where they had characters that would show up, one character could show up constantly, and you had to fight them over and over again. And it's kind of similar with Beast, is that the line shows up multiple times for, I guess, multiple pseudo-boss fights, and before reaching the final fight. So I just wanted to point it out, the movie just felt like I was watching a video game in movie form. That's not a bad thing, if anyone was wondering. That's not a bad thing. I actually quite enjoy that kind of style. Or at least with this movie I did. But it does kind of lead into something that I think is a bit of an issue of the movie, and probably the only issue with the movie I had, at least while watching, was that the pacing feels very inconsistent, and that kind of maybe goes back to it feeling like a video game, where, like, in a video game, it's objective after objective after objective, then you get cutscene in between. And but this movie, that definitely has stuff like that, where, like, yeah, you have 1 minute where, like, the characters, like, they have to go retrieve something, and then you have slower moments where it feels more like a cutscene. Now, I don't want to say the pacing's inconsistent, because a lot of the times movies have to have stuff like that, but I do want to know that, yeah, it does seemingly have a bit of a pace issue. And granted, I mean, the movie's only like just over 90 minutes, so I guess they do kind of have to rush some things, but yeah, the pacing's a little bit inconsistent, but I didn't really care. Because honestly, I got what I came for, seeing Idris Elba fight a giant murder cat. Stop it. But, yeah, overall, I'm gonna give Beast, a solid 87%. I know it's a very specific number, but I don't care. I got, maybe 3 more reviews lined up before we hit November. Later today, I'll be uploading my review for Werewolf by Night. I'm very excited to upload that, because I wanted to review that for a bit. And then tomorrow, on Halloween, on October 31st, will be my review for Trick or Treat, one of my all-time favorite holiday horror films, and I'm excited to share my opinion on it. So, yeah, anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.